So we finally heard from Ja himself.
Mhm.
He's saying all the right things, Zena.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I have some concerns, but he's saying the right things right now. Specifically, I think that was Michael Cole there from the Commercial Appeal asking him about whether he's going to use social, or if he's going to use it in the same way that he did before. And
Right,
he indicated
right.
that he won't be. He has tweeted already, though, but just saying day by day, if I'm
Hmm.
correct. So he's tweeted, hasn't been much from him outside of that,
Right.
but we'll see. We'll see what's coming. I say that I'm worried about him a little bit still because while he's saying the right things, a lot of it, and I don't know, it sounds like he was coached on what to say. It sounds
Mm.
like PR or whoever worked with him, lawyers, and maybe I could be wrong. I'm totally speculating,
Sure,
but as a
sure,
as a lawyer myself, and if I have a client, he's saying things
sure.
that he's talking the way I would want my client to talk. And the reason I'm concerned is because we know that he went to counseling. That was reported. He went to counseling,
Right,
but he left counseling very early. I mean, I'm not even sure the exact time frame that he was totally there.
right.
And he indicated that it was to help with his stress, not alcohol. He made that very clear.
Yes, I am not
But
an alcoholic.
right, but I'm just, it seems quick. And I don't know if the counseling is still ongoing. I hope it is, but that's why I have concerns. What did you think about what Ja had to say?
It's funny. I saw that video and I felt so sad listening to him. And we know Ja Morant to be this just very gregarious, like tons of energies, dunking on everybody, having fun with his teammates, center of attention type of person. And he just sounded, I won't be doing that at all. I'm not worried about clubbing. I'm not going out. I'm not doing, and I'm just thinking, like, as a 23-year-old experiencing that level of pressure. And yes, he probably does have a ton of coaches, lawyers, agents, you name it, in his face, like, don't mess this up. You almost messed it up already. With the fact that you're getting away in the sense that you're getting a second chance. Don't mess this up. So I definitely felt like, yes, he might have been coached, but now that spotlight that he was under of having fun and being that number one player for the Grizzlies, and the face of the league, he's now under a microscope. And all I can think about when I heard that and why I was sad is when you're holding a microscope and there's a spotlight or a light direction of, sun or whatever's under that microscope burns. And that's what concerned me is I think about Black Boy Joy. I think about all these different things. Yes, he made a terrible mistake. He made some not so smart decisions. He's also 23. I urge anyone and everyone that is thinking about the situation, remember what you were doing when you were 23. Then add millions and millions and millions of dollars on top of it. I just don't want him to be so far under this microscope now that he burns and that
Yeah.
energy that we love about him is gone.
Yeah, he's probably going to be so careful about the steps he's taking, what he says, what he does,
Mm,
and that in itself having to be so careful about every single thing you say, every step you take
yes.
can also lead to stress, which is why I say
Yes.
I I hope that the counseling is ongoing. The way that I think a lot of people think about therapy, counseling is like you go for a specific thing and then like you're
Mm,
done. But I wish that we would treat mental health like the way we treat physical health, right? And it's ongoing, it's maintenance.
right.
So it's all health. So I go to therapy to maintain my mental health, and I go to, the gym to maintain my physical health. And it shouldn't just be
Right.
like you have a problem. A lot of these words they tend to stigmatize it, and we'll get into that a
Hmm.
little bit more later. But there's been so much response to what he had to say, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I don't know, Zena. I've just been watching the commentary, and I would say the dog whistles have come out.
Mm.
I'm hearing a lot of this language. People quoting the rap lyrics, of the rappers that he recites and talking about how those rappers have gone to jail, they've been in trouble. Then showing video like, oh, he doesn't have an alcohol problem, and then show videos of him drinking. And I'm just
Yep.
like, I'm sure you didn't drink when you were younger, right? Like the people who were saying these things. So To me, there's some undertones to some of that commentary.
Oh, yes. People are exposing themselves. People are exposing themselves. And that's the thing is anytime you take any of these circumstances, especially from a sports lens, and you see how people are filtering through to take what they want to take out of the situation, you're starting to see the filter they operate in general life through, right? And that is what, exactly as you mentioned, some of these undertones, rap lyrics, I mean, we could have that go all the way back to the 1980s. Rap lyrics are rap lyrics, and the quote of the day is usually a rap lyric. And when you're a young kid, you're listening to, in this case, it was NBA YoungBoy, Parade in My City, he was excited. Parade in My City, yes, the song relates to gun violence. Not a great coincidence, but he said Parade in My City multiple times before this incident. And so, yeah, undertones, exposure is happening for sure for the people that are making comments and trying to figure out how they want to distill this situation to make sense for them.
And it's unfortunate because, and it was to be expected. I already saw it coming with the strip club where the pictures were released afterwards and people were like, John strip club in the headlines. And it's like, what do you think people do in the strip club? I mean, like, he wasn't.
You better be lucky we didn't see anything worse than money being thrown around and what happens in a strip club happening in a strip club. So, yeah.
Exactly. And the owner of the strip club, I think, in fact, said, like, he's one of the nicest people that came in. He was really nice to the girls. So, but it's like when I saw that, I was like, okay, no NBA players are going back to your facility.
Ever.
But second, it's like, all right, like I could see what's coming. And now you're going to just have people out there ready and trying to catch Ja in the middle of something so they can like get those photos to TMZ or wherever it is. So, I have concern for him as much as I'm a Warriors fan and I'm like against the Grizzlies when it comes to like the basketball stuff. Like I still want Ja to succeed. And so again, like I said, I hope he continues the therapy, but I am still concerned. And, I hope the stress that he went to therapy for, I hope he is learning to manage it better.
Agreed. Not only for himself, for his family, his daughter. I mean, I think everyone knows Ja Morant is a smart kid. He's going to figure this out, but we just don't want to burn that black boy joy out of him as he's trying to figure that out. So agreed with you. Hopefully gets the help he needs and continues to do so.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.